All right, let's talk about one of the most critical moments in real estate, actually showing a property. It's so much more than just unlocking a door. We're going to break down how you can transform a simple walkthrough into a really compelling experience that actually closes deals. And we're going to use the pro-level framework from the EC 0110.02 standard as our guide.
This right here, this is the whole philosophy. This is what separates the real pros from the amateurs. I mean, think about it. Anyone can point to a room and say, this is the kitchen. A true professional knows they're not just selling square footage, they're selling a future. They're selling what it feels like to have coffee there on a Sunday morning or host a family dinner. And that mindset, it changes literally everything about how you give a tour.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly, right? The amateur gives you a play-by-play, here's the living room, over there is a closet. But the professional, they're more like a director. They're orchestrating an entire experience. They connect the features of the house to the client's actual life, turning a boring description into this vision they can see themselves in. You stop being a narrator and you become the person who sets the scene.
So how do you actually do that? Well, it all starts with a clear protocol. And this first phase isn't about some hard sell or persuasion tactics. Nope, it's all about building a solid foundation of trust and proving your value as an advisor. This is where you set the stage for everything that's going to happen next. That trust is really built on two main pillars. First up, functionality. This is where you get to show off your expertise. You're not just saying, oh, it gets good light. You're explaining the property's orientation and how the sun is going to move through the house all day long. You're pointing out the quality of the finishes, any special installations. Then, pillar number 2, transparency. And this one is huge. Of course, you're going to highlight all the great things, but a pro is also upfront about potential issues or the property's current legal status. Why? Because that kind of honesty is the absolute bedrock of trust.
So here's the bottom line. Following this protocol isn't just about ticking off some boxes for a certification, it's a strategy. When a client sees that you have this deep, transparent knowledge, their confidence in you just skyrockets. You're not just a salesperson anymore, you are a trusted expert. And that's exactly who they want to do business with.
Okay, so once you've laid that foundation of trust, the tour has to make a really critical shift. It's time to stop the monologue and start a dialogue. You've got to turn your presentation into a genuine, two-way conversation.
And it all pivots on this one question. This is everything. Within this professional framework, asking this is non-negotiable. See, up to this point, you've been talking about the property. The second you ask this, you make it all about them. The whole experience is now focused on their needs, their hopes, their future. This is the moment where you stop talking and you start listening.
And after you've asked that question, your role changes again. Now you're the problem solver. Your goal is to field every single question, every objection with complete and total confidence. This is where all your preparation really pays off. Whether they're asking about the legal docs or a weird corner in the layout, your ability to give a clear, confident answer just reinforces your expertise and nudges them that much closer to a decision.
All right, we've reached the end of the walkthrough. For a lot of agents, this is where it gets kind of awkward, right? But for a pro, it's not awkward at all. It's just a structured, logical conclusion. There's no fumbling around for what to say next because there's a clear protocol to follow. The process is just 2 clear, direct steps. First, you ask about their potential form of payment. It's a practical, qualifying question that smoothly shifts things into the business phase of the conversation. Second, if the interest is real, you formally request a letter of intent to either purchase or rent. It's clean, it's direct, and it's totally professional.
And let's be really clear about this. These final steps are not about pressuring anybody. Not at all. They're about professionally confirming the interest that you've been building throughout the entire tour. It's a move that respects both the client's time and your time by moving things forward in a logical, transparent way. It's just the natural conclusion to a beautifully orchestrated experience.
This phrase just captures that transition perfectly. The tour confirmed their interest in the property. Great. Now the next stage of the process kicks in. You need to confirm if they're a viable candidate to actually move forward. This sets up the whole buyer qualification phase, which is another crucial step on this journey.
So the big takeaway here is pretty clear. Following a professional standard isn't about being rigid or boring, it's about being effective. It's a proven roadmap that helps you build trust, create value, and guide a client to a confident yes. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready to stop just opening doors and to start closing deals?